Okay, this is video number 3. On the bottom of page 14 talks about the arrival of students, and last year we had a pretty significant problem with tardies because of our car line, and at the end of the year I sent a memo to all families letting them know that it is our expectation that their child be in the building at 8:05. We're going to stick to our guns to the best of our ability to, as soon as that bell rings, come in the building and get started with broadcast as soon as possible. The reason for this is because second grade goes to specials at 8:15, and of course instruction is going to begin in all of the other classrooms at that time as well. So we really do want to make sure that we have our students in your classroom by 8:05 the best we can. Now, that first week of school, that might be a little bit difficult with people parking and walking students in, but I expect after Labor Day that parents, just like I ask you to be in your classroom at 7:45, that I'm also going to ask parents, if that means waking up 5 minutes earlier to get here, that they go ahead and do that. We're going to do dismissal to classrooms the same way that we did last year, where we ask one staff member from each grade level to come to the gym and pick up their grade level no earlier than 7:53. If you go to page 15, if you look in the very middle, actually, let's look at the top of page 15. In the appendix, there will be a student early dismissal information sheet that you're going to want to fill out and provide a copy for Mrs. Dellinger in the office. If you have changes in those circumstances, please make those necessary changes and provide another copy to the office. In the middle of the page on dismissal of students, we're going to continue with the same bell times that are noted in the middle of the page. And if you look in what's bolded or highlighted at the bottom, it says if a student's to ride home on a bus any other bus than they normally ride, they must have a note from a parent, and it must be approved by Mrs. Dellinger and placed in the appropriate driver's box. So please make sure you're not holding those notes till the end of the day. And below that, you have all the bus numbers and the drivers for morning and afternoon. On the top of page 16 talks about student absences. Nothing there has really changed that I know about. Of course, Ms. Goforth is the one that handles all of that in Power School. And let's go down to student injuries at the bottom of page 16. We have a new injury report form this year, and that is in your appendix. Remember that when you have an injury occur in your classroom or under your supervision, you fill one of those out, provide a copy to me, and then another to the school nurse. Remember that when you send a child in with injuries from the playground or any kind of head injury, they should never be escorted by another student. They should be walked up by an adult. If you go to, page number 18, the second paragraph from the top, and this is in bold and this is new this year, so I would like for you to highlight this. In conducting lessons, the lesson objectives or I can statements must be posted and visible to the class. And that's not something that I've asked for in the past, but it is something that I'm going to ask you to do this year. It can be something as easy as you writing it up on the board, putting it on a sentence strip and posting the sentence strip, or another way of having it posted. And there's several reasons why I want you to do this, but the most important one is I think it's important for those students to see the vocabulary in those I can statements and in the goals, the objectives, because those words are so key for their understanding, and if they see them and recognize them, then when it comes to assessments and moving up to the next grade level, they'll be familiar with those terms. And it also helps for administration or any kind of vertical walkthrough when we come in and have a general idea of what we're looking for or what we should see while we're in there at that time. The last thing for this video is about field trips. There are 3 field trip forms in the appendix that we'll go over when we get there, but I want you to notice, and it's highlighted, that the activity bus cost has gone up this year to $1.45 a mile, so you need to figure that into your field trip costs. And then if you look at the very bottom, it's already highlighted for you. It says to please remember to follow revised procedures when requesting charter buses, and I think Ms. Dellinger might talk a little bit about this at the staff meeting. when you go on a trip over 200 miles round trip or out of state, it needs to be approved 2 weeks prior to the board meeting, not 2 weeks prior to the trip, and that's new this year.